we got the youngest. And we looking official. So we need to be looking there though. That's the camera.
Yeah.
So when we looking, like we looking directly, talking to America right now.
In Parks and Recreation boards. Sean has curated workshops and events for the entrepreneurial communities of Atlanta and Dayton areas. He is a devoted father to 7 freemen. So I'll turn it over to Sean.
Thank you for the introduction today, Sierra. Very much appreciate it. Welcome again, everyone, to the City of Trotwood's Entrepreneur Summit. We have some great organizations here today and representatives of those organizations to just share their story and information about what they do. The purpose of this event of the Trotwood Entrepreneur Summit is to expand knowledge to the Trotwood community as well as the surrounding areas to those who may have an interest in entrepreneurship. The City of Trotwood's tagline is growing together. The only way we can grow together is by helping each other reach greatness and to inspire those around us to reach their goals. Today we have 6 amazing organizations to just share their stories and what they do and provide the information about their orgs. First, we have Alexander Coles of the Small Business Administration talking to us today about how to grow your business. I had a quick just ad lib as far as when I was at Alabama State, the SBA was located in our College of Business down at the bottom. They might be at Wright State or University of Dayton as well, but they were an amazing resource for me. I have Malcolm Mallory on. We both were graduates of the College of Business down at Alabama State, and he probably can attest to it too. They whipped my resume into shape and, you know, really provided a lot of opportunities for me as I was coming up. So looking forward to hearing what Alex has for us today. Mr. Coles, take us away.
All right, thanks a lot, Sean, and I appreciate the intro and the shout out. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So I have a brief presentation, and I can make this available to anybody who wants it. So I could send it to Sean and Sierra, and you guys can distribute it out if you'd like to at the end. But let me go ahead and bring that up. Okay, so as Sean mentioned, I'm Alex Coles. I'm the Senior Area Manager for the Small Business Administration, and I cover the Dayton area. So that's about, I think it's 7 or 8 counties I have in the region that I'm basically the point person. I do outreach and talk with businesses all the time. So just a quick overview of what we do. Most of you right now know that we do a lot of disaster relief, not only through the tornadoes that hit, a couple years ago or a year and a half ago. We did some work with Trotwood at that time, but also during the pandemic, we've done a lot of disaster relief. But today, I'm not really going to talk about that at all. I'm going to focus mainly on what's available that we do every single day, day in, day out, beyond the pandemic. So we provide a lot of tools at the right time for you to start your business, to build your business so that you have the confidence to move forward and to expand your business knowledge and expand your business. So the first thing that we're probably best known for is having access to capital. And so essentially what we do is when a person or a business goes to a bank and they're looking for capital for their business, and the bank is just kind of in that little hesitant to do anything. You know, they want to lend them money, but it's just a little risky for them for whatever reason. a lot of times the SBA can step in and we can provide a loan guarantee to the bank. So we don't do direct lending, we do the guarantee to the bank. And so we'll tell the banker, hey, if we take on 50% of the loan, if we take on 75% of the loan, would you then loan the money to this individual or this business? Many times the bank is going to say, well, yeah, of course, if you take on some of the risk, yeah, we would definitely loan the money. And that's the role that we play in. So our loan amounts are very small, $500 even, up to $5.5 million for your business. It can be used for working capital. So if you're looking to export, if you're a seasonal business, if you just need a line of credit so that you can run your business and have something right there at the waiting for you when you need it, that's our most popular program, is our working capital program. We also can help finance fixed assets. So whether it's equipment, machinery, or most likely it would be real estate. So if you're looking to purchase a new building, if you're looking to purchase some land, that's something that we can come in and help with. And the program with the fixed assets, what makes it so attractive to everyone is that the bank finances 50% of the loan. We have a community development corporation finance 40%, and then the lender or the borrower only has to come up with 10%, as opposed to the normal 20% to purchase real estate. So it really helps the borrower have that excess cash to put into their business. So you do have to be a for-profit. We really don't have any programs at this time for nonprofit businesses. That's a little different in disaster, when a disaster is declared, but in general, our standard programs are for for-profit businesses. And you have to be physically located here in the US. As you know, we're a federal program, so it doesn't matter what state you're in or what territory you're in. As long as you're in the US territory, then you can utilize the SBA. So, you know, this slide's just saying that you do have to have some of the skin in the game, you know, whether it's your time and money, and you're not able to get funds anywhere else. Because if you can get funds on your own, you don't need the SBA to get financing. So that's just something to keep in mind. Another thing that we really help small businesses with is government contracting. So many of you probably know that the US government is the largest purchaser in the world, and they purchase everything. I mean, just about anything you can think of, the federal government purchases. And so we have programs. We partner with the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. There's one in Beaver Creek. And what they do is basically they'll help you find get registered to be a contractor. They'll help you find the opportunities for your business, and then they can even make connections for you in those specific agencies. And not only can they help with federal contracts, they can also help with state government, local government, universities, prime contractors. So it's a huge help to businesses, and there's no cost to utilize that program. We also internally, we have our 8A business development program. So this program is geared towards socially and economically disadvantaged people or citizens. So whether it's minority-owned, woman-owned, if you're in a hub zone, historically underutilized business zone, then you can become part of the 8A program. And then you have a 9-year window in which you essentially have an inside track on those set-asides for government contracts. And so it can definitely be a big help to your business to get well established in the contracting world. So this is just reiterating that it can be a woman-owned small business, even service-disabled veteran-owned businesses can participate. So basically, this slide's just telling you it's based on your NAICS code or your DUNS number. You definitely have to be a small business, but our definition of small business covers, I think, 95% of all businesses in the US are considered small by our definition. And then you have to get registered into the SAM database, which is what the PTAC would help you do. Then I'd also like to talk about exporting. That's kind of my area of expertise, that if you're looking to expand internationally or even just get into the export markets, that there are a lot of resources available to you. So just so everybody, whether I didn't know who knows much about exporting, but 2/3 of the world's purchasing power is outside of the US, and 95% of the world's population is outside of the US. So there's huge opportunities beyond our borders. So the federal government has resources to help you find partners abroad. They're called Export Assistance Centers. The SBA's Office of International Trade, we can help even finance your export orders. If you get a large order from beyond our borders, we can help finance that for you so that you can get the working capital to complete that. Our small business development centers, Adrian Price will be speaking here in a little bit. They can even help you. They're part of the Export Assistance Network. And they can also tap into the state of Ohio resources. Most people don't know that the state of Ohio has 14 international offices to help you find partners abroad and help do market research for you. And it's at no cost to an Ohio business. And then there's even a grant available through the State Trade Expansion Program. Or here in Ohio, they've called it IMAGE. And that can basically offset almost half the cost of going to an international trade show or any other kind of funds that you're spending to expand your markets. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the export finance part of it, but I did just want to touch on the counseling. Adrian, as I mentioned, with the Small Business Development Center, will be talking about what the SBDC does. As far as the counseling goes, we essentially just provide some funding to the small business development centers and Dayton SCORE to provide these services to you. I don't think SCORE is involved in this today, but they do also provide free confidential business mentoring to start up businesses and even existing small businesses. Again, Adrian's going to talk about the small business development centers. And there's also women's business centers. There's one in Cincinnati and there's one in Columbus, are probably the two closest, but they focus on women-owned businesses. And then there's also Veterans Business Outreach Centers, or VBOCs. There is one in Dayton that can also help and is solely focused on helping the veteran-owned businesses. So I would also like to mention, not only are we available for one-on-one meetings, but we partner with a lot of organizations such as City of Trotwood today to provide business classes either online or in person. As you can guess, most now are online like we are today. And so these courses, I mean, they run the gamut from just overviews of what programs are available to really getting down to the nuts and bolts of QuickBooks. We talk about marketing, we talk about international trade, talk about legal aspects. I mean, it just really runs the gamut on what kind of trainings are available. And most of those are absolutely free. There's no cost to do that except that your time to attend. So here are the contact information for the 3 offices in Ohio, or at least in the Columbus district office. The Columbus District Office covers 60 counties in Ohio. I'm part of the Dayton office. I cover 7 or 8. And then we also have a branch office in Cincinnati that also covers about 7 or 8 counties in Southwest Ohio. So I know I went through a lot of information pretty quick, but that's a pretty good overview of what the Small Business Administration does and what we can do for your business. And so I'm more than happy to meet, take any questions. I don't know how Sean and Sierra want to run it today, but thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Alex. If anyone is developing a question or have a question later, if it hits you later, we will be having breakout rooms at the end of today after everyone has presented. I did have a quick question though, Alex, before. How long is the funding process? If we say I was to contact you, set up a meeting, how long does it usually take to go from, meeting to actually obtaining that funding?
It can be a little bit of a process. Sometimes I'd say about 2 months maybe, and then you can get the funding, but I do want to mention, I mean, you have to work with a bank because it's their call whether or not they want to even use our programs. We can't force them to. And I would say that at least 95% of all SBA borrowers, so the small businesses who get our loans, have never had contact with the SBA. So you really don't need, I'm more than happy to meet with you and kind of talk a little bit about before you go to a banker, but a lot of businesses just work with their bank and the bank knows our programs really well, usually. And so they'll know how to go through the whole process. But it can take about 2 months, I'd say. And it also just depends on a number of factors of if you're an existing business, what kind of industry, how much you're looking for. So those can add some time to it as well.
Like I said, we will have, Adrian, do you have one? Okay.
We couldn't hear you, but now we can.
Yeah.
Oh, got you. I'll make sure I speak up. But thank you, Alex.
You're
I do
welcome.
appreciate that. That hit it right on the head. Next, we'll be moving on to the City of Trotwood's Planning and Development Director, Jung-Hun Chin. And he'll be speaking today about important tips for individuals looking for a physical business location, specifically here in the City of Trotwood. Me and Malcolm got a chance to actually present to Jung-Hun, and he was very very generous with his time, and just even with our questions, he was very thorough in answering the questions, letting us know what we needed to do and what those steps were to achieving that land and obtaining that land. So definitely appreciate that. And Jung-Hun, you can take it away.
He's on mute.
Jung-Hun, are you there? Usually it's okay.
Okay. Can anybody hear me now?
Yes, we can.
hear you.
Sorry about that. Let me repeat what I said earlier. Sean, thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me here. I'm here to really share with you from a city's perspective in terms of creating a business or a location for your business. I have a quick presentation. Can anybody see that? Can anybody see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm starting with from the municipal zoning side. The zoning law of the local government is really about the land use regulation. Typically, the city is divided into various zoning districts, like residential, commercial, or industrial districts. And each district will have its own development standard and allowable usage. And the goal is to protect the general public safety and welfare. And based on that, there are two sets business I can think of. One is considered a home-based business, which means that you are going to use your residence to be your office in your business site. And the pro is there's no cost because you reside in that place. And it's also convenience and from the comfort of your home to do your business. However, there's some limitations to that. One is, it depends on what business that you're operating. The business you operate might impact your neighbors. That becomes the quality of life issues. For instance, in the past, I have been approached by individuals who wants to use your garage to start a brewery business. It's a great idea, but because of the brewery involves in the processing, and potentially there are aroma issue that the neighbor may not be may not like that. So that is a concern that you need to take that into consideration. That is, in general sense, you operate it out of your house. It's called home base. The second option is what I consider a non-home base business, which you would operate out from a storefront or somewhere else, not in your home. And the pros of that is that you are very suitable for that kind of non-residential activities, and potentially you may have some synergy generated from being close to other businesses. Now, the flip side is there are costs associated of renting the space or maybe other operational equipment that you might have to have. So that is the threshold you have to consider. Now, information concerning the available sites, you can look for the real estate agent or the owner of the property, or even contact the city to ask for those information. Or if you know the address, you can look up the county auditor's website to find out who the owner is. In terms of the financial resources, the city has a community improvement corporation. Right now, we're in the process of looking at creating a revolving loan fund, but we're not there yet. So what I have on the screen is what I gather from the county level and possibly some state level as well. At the county level, because we're a part of the county, so there is a micro enterprise. Okay, let me take a step back. These kind of financial resources, for the most part, geared toward brick and mortar type of businesses and existing ones. So keep that in mind. But I would still encourage you to contact them if you have an idea to want to start your business. So the first option is the micro enterprise grant from Montgomery County. That is part of the Montgomery County and the City of Dayton collaborative effort. And I have those information, and I will share this PowerPoint with Sean and Sierra. So if you want to do some follow-up, feel free to contact me. And the second option for financing is that there is a CDBG small business loan program, and it is operated out of the BizCap, which is part of a county court. The county court is Montgomery County Corporate Development. They have a lot of the business opportunity loans that you can approach them to get more information. And lastly, I would say is that Ohio Development Services Agency, they also have a whole lot of the loans and grant opportunities. You can contact them to get more information about. The bottom line is, before you look for a site, contact the city to see if that site will be suitable. These are the exercises I will highly recommend you to go through, so you won't get challenge issues down the road. The better approach is even when you have the time, just give the city or the CIC a shout to see what we can and how we can assist you with your endeavor. I think I'm just giving you a very preliminary outlook how we can assist you in your endeavor. So I'll be happy to answer any question down the road. And thank you again for having me here to share this information with you. Now, let me switch it back to Sean.
Thank you, John. That was very insightful information. Definitely. As always, I do have a question. Brittany Rose says, thanks, John. So if I know you mentioned the example of someone who wants to start a brewery out of their garage. Say, for example, one of my businesses is an app company. If I want to list my home as my business address, is that possible? And would I go through you to make that happen?
You are looking to start up your ad company.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I consider home base, because your interaction with your clients primarily through telephone or email. So that doesn't change the residential character of your home. So what you need to just get a home occupation permit from the city. The premises of that home occupation is that you will use part of your home as your business, but you will not have an excessive visits from your clients to your home.
Okay. That's something to think about. I was trying to work the system there, Miss Adrienne. You know, I was trying to see what I could do there. But
Keep
that's
in
good.
mind, when the intent of the residential home base is that you live in the neighborhood. You're trying to be considerate of your neighbors. If you do your business, nobody had noticed that. Nobody's going to have issues. Now, if you have a business that's getting a lot more traffic in and out, then the neighbor will start asking, what is this about?
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So if it's not disturbing, or if it's not very noticeable to the neighborhood, essentially you're fine.
Yeah, basically, your neighbors doesn't know what you do, and then they, it just that it does not distract or create an issue to your neighbors. I think that's the whole intent. The home base is that you want to work at home, but in the same token, you respect your neighbors' the livelihood as well.
So maybe in the case of like, if I did, if I want to run my consulting business out of my home and there are a lot of cars or maybe cars at different times of the day building up, that might be more plausible to make happen.
That might be down the road problematic because, if your clients come in the different hours, that is very different than the residential life.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions from anyone before we move on?
I have one for Mr. Chen.
Yes.
I'm looking to open a business in Trotwood, and I've been trying to do this on my own and have run into problems with the commercial real estate. I don't know if this would be the platform or if I would have to speak with someone offline, but I've come across several issues where storefronts, they're vacant. However, it's not available because the lease has not expired. But for whatever reason, the previous vendor had to move out and move on. Therefore, so they're not able to rent that storefront. And there's several of those in Trotwood. Also, I've come across, we have the issue with Consumer Square. There's a lot of space there. The owners are located in Vegas and don't plan to do anything with that space as of yet. So if I'm wanting to keep my business in Trotwood, I'm kind of limited. So I need some help and direction there.
Absolutely. Give me a call. I know quite a few of the property owners, commercial space,
Okay.
and we can certainly have them, get you in contact with them.
May I have your number, please?
Yes. 937-854-7216.
Any particular time is best?
No, just give me a call. If I'm not here, just leave a message. I'll call you back that date or the next day.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Any other questions before we move on? If not, just look forward to speaking with them in the breakout room. Also, Jung, if you don't mind, we'll drop your phone number in the chat for anyone that may want to reach out to you.
That's no problem.
Next. Okay, we have Councilwoman Rhonda Finley. She asked, Mr. Chen, can you discuss the CIC's roles in commercial development?
At this point in time, CIC have some commercial properties, and they are available on the CIC website. And we are also continue to work to secure commercial sites. Predominantly right now, we are focusing on Salem Avenue. If anyone has interest in creating the business, just give myself a call or contact Chad Downing, CIC director. We'll be happy to sit down and see what we can work together.
Thank you for that question, Ms. Rhonda. All right. Next, we will have Adrian Herb. Oh, quick question. Again, Jung, sorry.
That's okay.
But are there federal grants to help in rebuilding businesses in Trotwood?
Rebuilding because of the tornado damage or because something else? SBA may be able to help you with the federal, from the federal side in terms of tornado damage. Earlier, I talked about the CDBG small business. That is a federal dollar as well. Does that answer your question?
I believe so. I was waiting to see my mom actually who asked, but yeah, she was just asking for any federal grants that could be awarded to the city.
I have to look into that. The one that I'm familiar with is the Community Development Block Grant from the federal government, but that is part of the, we're part of a county. I can't think of anything at this point in time.
Okay. All right. And Councilwoman Finley asked, what can we do to incentivize businesses to come to Trotwood?
We do have several incentives. One is the community reinvestment area that we provided the property tax abatement for business to come into the cities. Like I said, the other thing is that we're trying to develop the revolving loan that can also be utilized as the incentive to attract the business into Trotwood. And we are also looking at how we can fully explore the opportunity zone that the city is part of it. We are going to develop some kind of program guideline on that as well. An opportunity zone is also part of the city, federal designation.
Great to hear. I didn't know, or I wasn't aware that we were opportunity zone. Is it the entire city of Trotwood or certain parts?
The opportunity zone is really in the city's industrial park and all the way down to West 3rd.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right. For time purposes, we will move along, but thank you guys for your questions. And once again, we will have the breakout session in just a few moments here later on, where you guys can ask and be able to speak to Mr. Chin and Ms. Sue Bowman, who will be speaking a little later, speak to them in depth about Trotwood and the businesses here and conducting business here. So thank you, John Hunt. Next, we have Adrian Hurd. Well, before I do move on, Sierra also dropped the information for Chad Downing, the executive director of the CIC. His phone number and email is in the chat if you guys want to.
The email is CDOWING, not D. So I'll fix that.
Nice. All right. So next we do have Miss Adrian Hurd of the Small Business Development Center and the Entrepreneur Center. She will be speaking on how the Small Business Development Center can help you as an entrepreneur and as a business, and along with the benefits of those. I actually, when I moved back here to Dayton a little bit before, I was able to host an event along with Launch Dayton, which was Dayton Tech Guide at the time, highlighting creatives in tech and how they use tech. And the panel was all of my peers from Trotwood, so all Trotwood alumni. So that was pretty great, pretty cool to do. So just learning about that space and what they had going there was pretty awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward. I've been taking my notes here, so looking forward to taking a little bit more. So Adrian.
Good morning, everyone. And I'm going to cover two areas actually, because I'm going to tell you about the Entrepreneur Center, and then I'm going to tell you about one of the programs at the Entrepreneur Center. And with any luck, we'll have a presentation. Maybe we will. And everybody see the building, the Entrepreneur Center?
Yes.
Located on Monument Avenue, just a block or two past the ballpark. And the purpose of the Entrepreneur Center, which we affectionately call TECH, is it's dedicated to supporting Miami Valley, all of Miami Valley entrepreneurs, from small businesses to high tech, to research, to commercialization. The Entrepreneur Center offers critical, free, game-changing resources to startups and to scale-ups. It's the Dayton region's entrepreneurs drive innovation. And so what we're here for is to help you. Meanwhile, somebody needs to admit someone. Okay. The Entrepreneur Centers has 4 focuses. 1, it can help you start a business. 2, it can help you launch a high-tech startup. 3, it helps you commercialize research. And 4th, it helps you to engage with entrepreneurs. So the first one, in starting and growing a business, this deals with anything from food trucks and freelance to manufacturers. The Entrepreneur Center has resources and solutions for every stage of your business. The primary resource for starting a small business that you can receive at the Entrepreneur Center is the Small Business Development Center. I'll talk about that more in depth later. The next one, in addition to having the Small Business Development Center, if you're starting or growing a business, the Entrepreneur Center also offers shared office space at a cost, and also co-working space, which is a workplace solution, and you share it with other people because you're not there all the time, but it gives you a place where you can work. They're affordable, and for a startup, it includes internet access, it has copy equipment, all of that is included. The next thing that it does, when you want to launch a high-tech startup, high-tech means that it's a company that has an addressable market of over $250 million. That's considered a high-tech market. If you're in the Miami Valley and that's the kind of business you're trying to launch, the Entrepreneur Center has funding and resources through the Entrepreneurial Services Provider Program. Those are resources for high-tech startups. So if you're technology enabled and you've got a market of $250 million, 250 million potential, we can work with you through it's called the ESP program. Then the next one, commercialization. If you have received, they're called SBIRs, but it actually stands for Small Business Innovation Research. And that's a grant that you get from the federal government so that you look at technology that the federal government has and you say, I can find a way that it can be used by the general public or by private industry, a non-government application. If you have received a Small Business Innovation Research grant and you're ready to move to commercialization, the Entrepreneur Center can help you. There are resources, they're called a SBIR TAP, that helps you work with other experienced entrepreneurs to do the things you need to do to commercialize your research. And then the fourth one, where they say engage with entrepreneurs, this is actually geared at bringing investors together to look at your programs and to decide if you're a place they want to put money in. Those are the 4 umbrella programs of the Entrepreneur Center. The one that I want to focus on is the Miami Valley Small Business Development Center, which is hosted at the Entrepreneur Center. Again, I'm Adrienne Hurd, and I'm a certified business advisor. The Miami Valley Small Business Development Center helps small businesses. There's no cost, and there's one-on-one business advising from certified business advisors, meaning we know what we're talking about. The first thing that we can offer is that if you want to start a business, we can help you with goal setting, we can help you with business planning, we can help you with financial projections. If you're already in business and things are running smoothly and you want to grow, we can help you with analyzing your cash flow, your profitability. We can help with market development, and we can determine and help you to be export ready. And finally, if you're in business and you've grown and you're really hitting it, you just want to sustain, you want to work smarter instead of harder, we can help you with employee management, export markets, and export sales. We do this through the various counseling that we offer are in the areas of goal setting, cash flow and profitability, employee management, business planning, market strategy development, export markets, financial projections, export readiness, and then anything else that you need to turn a plumber into a plumbing business. That's what we do. You have to have the idea and the concept and the skill in whatever your product or service is going to be. We help you turn it into a business. If you want to reach us, you can call us at the number on the screen. If you want to find out more about us, you can visit us at the website that's on the screen. We have locations in downtown Dayton, Miamisburg, Beaver Creek, Piqua, Greenville, and Troy. Under the current COVID guidelines, just to be safe, we are doing all of our counseling and all of our webinars are being done online, either using Zoom or doing the telephone, but you still get the same quality of services. You go to our website and you can register and ask for counseling services, or you can see all of the webinars that are coming up and you can actually register online. And now the last thing I have to do is I have to give my disclaimer. You ready? The Ohio Small Business Development Center program is funded through a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Thank you, Alex. The program is also funded in part by the Ohio Development Services Agency. All services are extended to the public on a non-discriminatory basis. Language assistance are available for limited English proficient individuals, and reasonable accommodations for persons with disabilities will be made if requested at least 2 weeks in advance. Give us a call or look us up online. That ends my presentation.
Thank you so very much, Adrienne. That was some great information, super great information. As always, I do have a question, quick question at that. What do we need to do to get a location here in Trotwood? Is that possible? Do you think that's feasible?
To get a satellite office like we have in Miamisburg, just need to have a place. Yeah.
Well, I think we have the people on this call to make it happen, you know, sometime. I hate to put you on the spot. I was just messing.
No, because originally our only location was in the Entrepreneur Center on East Monument. But then the other cities that you saw, they made spaces available. All we need is an office. All of the scheduling is still handled through the main office. But for example, the person who handles the Miamisburg and one of the other ones down there, they never come into Dayton. All of their counseling is either done online or in the office that's in that city. If we had a site in Trotwood, we would come in and meet with people in Trotwood, so you wouldn't have to come downtown. But in our budget, we don't pay a lot of rent. So give us an office, talk to the director of the center, and she'll make it happen. Like that answer?
Yeah, that's yeah. I think that sounds like an opportunity.
And since I live in Trotwood, I would volunteer to be the one to come.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Well, I think we got 75% of it done. We just need to find the space. It sounds like, so that shouldn't be tough. Did anyone have any questions? Any questions from Ms. Hurd?
If I can speak from city, I think we can make that happen.
Okay. Can't hear you, Sean.
I said I think we have the ball rolling here. That's yeah, I agree, Deja. It is exciting to hear. That's nice. Well, I'll definitely I'll task myself with following up with you guys, with you, Adrian, about how to get that office and what we might need to do to make that happen. So if there are no other questions as of right now, we did want to just show a brief census video. Of course, the census is super important right now. And we definitely want everyone to get out there and make sure that you're participating in this. And Sierra, did you want to acknowledge our Parks and Rec board members?
Sure. Okay, we would like to acknowledge Sharon Williams, who is our chairperson. She's waving. We also have Latia Johnson Morton, who's also a board member, and Vice Mayor Tina Brown, who's the advisor to the board. So thank you for being a part of this, and thank you everyone for being.
Shout out.
Great job, you guys. Thank you for doing this.
It's not the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and show this census video. Can everyone see and hear?
Volume is very low.
Whites in a category titled All Other Free Persons. There is no distinction made between free blacks and Native Americans not on reservations. The censuses for 1820 through 1840 listed people of color separately. As the first census after the Civil War, the 1870 census is the first to include African Americans by name along with the rest of the population. It is often the first record of a surname for former slaves. This census lists the person's age and place of birth.
In the Black community today, there are many debates as to who is a descendant of slaves, who is a descendant of Native America, and who is a Black person born free in America with no ties to either. However, one thing that should not be argued is the degree of disinvestment that has historically occurred in minorities communities throughout America. Listing minority in a census category titled All Other Free Persons shows how all minorities was disenfranchised of equality consideration in this country. As a result of this and other practices, minorities have been underrepresented in the census. This has an adverse impact on federal aid that is invested in our community.
We're pleading with Trotwood citizens to help us avoid this same mistake by completing the census today. We have until September 30th to get 45% of our citizens to speak up. Please go to my2020census.gov or call 1-844-330-2020 today. Every American counts, not just 60% of one group or race. 5 minutes of your time today will have a positive impact on our future for the next 10 plus years. All right. So you guys heard it there first. A big part of funding comes from census and how many people are in your city or county. So if everyone is not, counted, that's not, we're doing ourselves a disservice as to our potential opportunities. So very important that we get out and participate in the census this year. Next, we will have Sue Bowman representing the Trotwood income tax. Sue will be speaking to important tax information for business owners. This is my first year as a full entrepreneur with my business, so I'm definitely looking forward to learning how I can maximize my business, especially as it pertains to taxes. So, Sue, you have the floor.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I thank you all for inviting me, and unfortunately I bring the bad side of it sometimes, but I think if you get a head start on your tax obligations, it's a key success for the business. So therefore, knowing what you have to have done and getting started in the beginning helps and takes you a long way. Like I say, your business structure is the most common types. When anyone starts a business, they're either most likely they're a sole proprietor, but the next one is a partnership and then corporation. These are the types that they'll normally choose from when they first start a business for their federal tax purposes. Most people that we see do a sole proprietor that runs it on a Schedule C. When you get into the partnerships, you can do the LLCs, which is a limited liability partnership, and we could go into detail on those, but these are your first three common ones, and usually the sole proprietor is the one that most folks start with. The types of taxes, when it comes to the federal, you'll have your federal income tax, then your Schedule Cs and your LLCs can be, if they're run on a Schedule C, can come in under your personal federal tax return. Then, of course, you have your estimated taxes if you owe over certain dollar amounts. And I think the federal government, if you owe $1,000 or more, then you're required to make estimated payments. The other thing is the self-employment tax. When you're self-employed, you're basically paying all of your own Social Security and Medicare tax, and that's calculated on your federal income tax when you're doing a sole proprietor. Then you have employment taxes. So if you have employees, then you would want to do those withholding for them, and you would have to pay those taxes on behalf of those employees and issue those W-2s. The other thing is you may have excise tax. And what that is, it depends on the type of business that you have. If you're running a trucking company, you may have to do the fuel tax, which is also collected through the government, through the federal government. The other thing is the employer identification number and accounting method. Why do you need an employer identification number or a federal tax identification number? This kind of identifies your business. And this also, it keeps you from having to pass out your social security number on every document to every vendor. You can utilize your federal identification number on that. Accounting methods is also an item that you will need to be addressed. And the two most common ones are the cash and the accrual methods. On the cash method, then you report the income and to deduct the expenses in the year that you receive or pay them. In the accrual method, then you report income and deduct expenses in the year that you earn or incur them, even if you don't get the income or pay the expenses until a later year. And then they have the hybrid method, which is also a combo of both of these. So setting this up and determining this part of your business in the beginning helps you as you proceed and grow in your business and expand. The other thing, you have the state of Ohio filing and taxes. You know, the state of Ohio will also need a return filed. And depending on the type of business, you may need an EIN number from the state. The state filing due dates are the same as the federal, and on the annual return and estimated tax payments are due there also. With the state of Ohio, if you owe $500 or more, then they require you to make estimated payments to avoid an underpayment of estimated tax penalty. Also, with the state of Ohio currently, to encourage businesses, if you have a gain on the business for the first $250,000, they're letting you take that off as an adjustment to the other income. So that's something that the state is offering right now to help folks who are starting their businesses and trying to give them the opportunity to advance and grow that business. Also, there may be other requirements by the state. Like I say, if you have, you may have certain businesses, you may have a commercial activity tax that is filed, tax return that is filed with the state. You may, depending on the type of business or service that you have, you may have to file a sales tax return and pay that tax. You're collecting it from the people that are buying your supplies or your products from you. And there again, not all of those are taxable for sales tax. So you want to research what you're actually doing and what service you're actually providing or sales that you're actually making. One important thing too I wanted to bring out, and I kind of jumped ahead a little bit there, is when you're setting up a business, please keep your finances separate. Keep your personal from your business separate, because if you get into an audit between the state, the federal, or a municipality or anything like that, you have all your documents separated. And make sure that you keep those receipts and track your expenses, because that one small receipt that you throw away may be worth a few dollars to you in the end. The other thing is the sales tax. Like I say, sales tax is generally charged on the sales of products from retailers to individual consumers. Based on that type of business, you may need to charge and collect that sales tax. And once it's collected, you need to file that sales tax return and pay the sales tax to the state. And the dates are usually monthly, usually by the 23rd of the next month from the time that you collect it. Or you can also set it up semi-monthly and pay it. There's late filing fees if it's not filed and paid timely. So therefore, you would definitely want to make sure that you took care of that information and kept track of that also. Example of a couple of businesses, you have Avon sales reps, Mary Kay sales reps, those type of representatives that has to collect the sales tax, and then they have to do their sales tax requirements to the state. Then you have the municipality taxes, the city taxes. So when it comes to the municipality tax, the city is in which the business is located, a return in taxes would be due to that city. Depending on the type of work, there may be more than one city return required to be filed. So if you're running a lawn care service and you're maybe in different cities working, so you would want to definitely track that income, because being a sole proprietor is totally different than just working as an employee and being paid by a W-2. The way it is taxed by municipalities is totally different than what it is with your W-2 earnings. So the expenses and the income would be allocated per the cities that you worked in and where the money was earned. Naturally, when you were talking about, Sean, your self-employment business of doing it in your home, then, you know, your primary business is there. You're not out doing that work. You know, you may be providing those services from in-home. You may not be doing a work site. But if you were, then you would want to track that time and that income earned, and then you would do an allocation from your income versus your expenses for your net profit on those returns. And you would want to provide copies of those other city returns to be able to get the proper credit for any taxes that were paid to the other municipalities. I know this is going through a lot. I am going to touch a couple of things that was brought up in the other groups. When you talk about buying the capital and starting up items, you can amortize that out. And amortizing is like depreciating it out over a period of 5 years. The same way when you get this capital and you start buying the properties or the equipment to be able to run your services, those items with the federal government, they have a class life. So let's just take like a computer, it has a class life of 5 years. So you recoup that cost over a period of 5 years. If you're utilizing it as part personal and part businesses, then that would be allocated. So that's part of the reason too why it's very important to keep the business side from the personal side totally separated. So that way it would benefit you in the end on your net profit. And when you do your net profit reports or your summary to show you the banks of where you're at with your businesses, because there's certain things that is allowed by federal law to be taken off, that when they're looking at it from a financial point, let's take for instance like your meals. If you were a truck driver, there's a standard mileage rate that you would get to, or mileage meal allowance that you would get to take off. But the thing of it is, the bank may not look at that because that's a per diem that's allowed, but it may not fall. They may not look at that as a totally expense when it comes to your net profit on what you actually made in your profit. Thank you, guys.
That was very insightful. Thank you a lot. I did have a quick question. So, can you recoup or count company expenses that were paid with the personal account?
You can, but you have to really track it. For instance, if you have a charge card, I would probably try to do a business charge card and try to keep those separated. I know it's kind of hard to do that when you're first starting out, but if you had an audit, you definitely want to keep those receipts. I know things fade, get you a copier, copy that receipt. That way you have an original copy of it, because there's certain assets that when you purchases that you make will be a depreciable asset. Others will be ones that you can expense out correct right off the bat against your income. For instance, anything that has a class life of a year or longer is usually a depreciable item. So if you were a carpenter and you had a screwdriver, chances are you're going to break it or lose it. It's not going to last you a year. But that air compressor that you purchased for the air nailer is going to last you more than a year most likely. So that's going to be depreciated out. That's not going to be expense. So you want to track that. And then that helps you in the future. And then once that's depreciated out, then, you know, if you buy more, then you want to keep track of how many you buy and what you do.
What advertisements, like online advertisement, is that something
That is
that's
an
out?
expense. That is an expense, yes.
We do have a question from Councilwoman Finley. She asks for you to discuss the impact to business owners' tax obligation due to the CARES Act / PPP funding that was received.
Some of the information, if they got it and they were utilizing it, some of the businesses will not have to pay some of that back if it's used unless the federal government comes back. As you well know, we have some across the U.S., we have some that have abused some of those resources that could really be used by other businesses, even in our area. And it took them a long time to get some of those items. By the extension of the filing deadlines and all, then naturally there's no penalties or interest on that. The stimulus payments that was received, the $1,200, the $2,400, and of course the extra for the children is not a taxable item to you. There will most likely be something on the tax return that shows if you received it, because if you didn't receive what you should have received, you would get the difference on your tax return when you file it this year. So there are some pluses on that. There's also benefits out there to where if you're borrowing from your 401k, there's a larger amount that you can borrow and you have a different time span on paying it back without penalties and those type of things also on the personal level.
She also asks, with the future of teleworking, can you deduct home office, internet, and other business expenses?
If you are a sole proprietor and you're running that business from home, yes, there is an office in-home deduction on the federal return. You can do the allocation for the actuals, or they actually have a simplified method to where you can take the amount of your square footage versus the actual amount that is used for your business in that home, and it has to be used exclusively for that business. And you get a percentage of that, and whether it be, if you have the actuals, then you're taking a percentage of your mortgage, a percentage of your real estate taxes, a percentage of your electric, water, cable, those type of services that you're utilizing. Yes.
Questions before we move on? All right. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Much. Next, we'll be learning about the Trotwood Chamber of Commerce. And here to represent the Trotwood Chamber is Marie Battle, Executive Director. And she'll speak on the benefits of being a part of the Trotwood Chamber. I myself am also a board member of the Trotwood Chamber of Commerce. So just joined a few months ago, and we've been doing some amazing things. Marie works, man, it seems like around the clock, nonstop, super hard for the city of Trotwood and for the businesses inside of the chamber. One quick fun fact that I didn't know is that anybody could join, so even if your business is outside of the city of Trotwood's city lines, you can still join the Trotwood Chamber of Commerce. So Marie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sean, and good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here. I want to give a little bit of background on the Trotwood Chamber of Commerce. In 1979, a group of business leaders felt the need to have an organization that would help nurture the businesses in Trotwood. They created the Trotwood Madison Chamber of Commerce. We are members of Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance. Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce, the Executive Chamber of Commerce of Ohio, Miami Valley Military Affairs, and Trotwood Historical Society. And our mission is to work with businesses, government, the nonprofit sector, and individuals to build a positive economic environment to ensure and enhance quality of life in Trotwood and the region. The Chamber strives to be a positive voice for the community. We sponsor many events to enhance the business experience and educate owners as well as the community on opportunities available. Some of the events that we presented before the pandemic were Coffee with a Cop, Brunch with the Mayor, Cybersecurity, Mother's Day Recognition, Businesses After 5, Business Expo, golf outing, which we had to cancel because of the pandemic. We didn't get enough golfers and sponsors to have this event, which was really discouraging. Our annual dinner and business recognition has been canceled because of Corona and the social distances that we would have to do. We have networking events and workshops that we provide to businesses as well as community. Many of our events for 2020 has been canceled. Social distances, wearing a mask, that's not a problem. But the social distances is. Many auxiliaries or many things cannot be held where we can get together and have an event. Some of the benefits provided to the chamber members are discounts on office products at any Office Depot location, discount on dental care, Superior Dental, prescription drug discount card, Track 1 employment. That's where the employer would use a background check for their employees, and we provide discounts for that. Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance self-funded healthcare plan through Anthem, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield. Workers' compensation discount provided by Hunter Consulting Company. And credit card processing, which is provided by U.S. Bank. Belonging to the chamber will provide many opportunities for you. Visibility to be recognized by other businesses and community leaders, access to get actively involved and meet prospects or like interests of others who may be able to refer you to a potential prospect, networking such as seminars, workshop, business expos, after 5 events, and others. Also, the chamber publish a newsletter monthly, and you would be able to publish information in this newsletter about your business. We advocate for members by keeping them informed on local, state, and national issues. We are an organization that is involved with and have an interest in businesses, individuals, organizations, and our community. We are basically funded by our memberships and events. There are 7 board members, and we meet the 3rd Wednesday of every month. Under normal circumstances, we meet at Friendship Village, but because of coronavirus, we're doing our meetings via Zoom. And I have been working remotely since March. I go in the office once a week, which is on Tuesday. You may be able to find information regarding the Chamber of Commerce on a website at www.trotwoodchamber.org, and all of the benefit information that I reviewed with you, you will be able to find that on our website as well. Thank you so very much for listening, and have a good afternoon. Are there any questions that I may be able to answer for you? If not, Sean, back to you.
Thanks, Marie.
You're welcome.
As you were speaking, I just kind of took it on myself to show our beautiful website here and some of the things that we have, activities and some of the membership benefits on there as well as the monthly newsletter. One of the, before we do move on, just to let you guys know, and I dropped the link to the Trotwood Chamber in the chat. But one of the super attractive things about the chamber and becoming a member to me was just knowing that it was only $95 annually. So as you guys may know, with other Chamber of Commerces, it can be kind of costly, especially if you're just starting out. So having access to all of the things that Marie spoke about there and only at that cost is super affordable, and it's been a great pleasure and a great benefit for myself and my company. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Last but certainly not least, we'll have Ms. Deja Demings representing the Dayton Young Black Professionals. And she'll be speaking to the importance of networking and working with like-minded individuals. One of the things that I can speak to about DYPB is just that, man, those guys work hard. You know, they work hard and they work nonstop. And when I moved back just last fall, and I was asking just other like-minded people how to get involved, who to get involved with, I was constantly being, pushed towards the Young Black Professionals, and joined the GroupMe, and just saw all of the work they were doing, the great work that they're doing for Dayton and specifically the west side of Dayton as well. So Deja really takes care of those folks. She has just a tremendous, huge heart and really cares about the community. So looking forward to hearing this. Deja, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you, Sean and Sierra, and major shout outs to you guys, because I know with COVID happened, this postponed it, but you guys were resilient and you still got it done. So shout out to you guys, and thanks for having me. Like they said, my name is Deja Demings, and I am the executive director for the Dayton Young Black Professionals, and I'm also an engineer during the day. So 2 full-time jobs. Sounds like most of us on the phone, but another day in the life. But for me, the way that by being in this work, we started in August 2018. Being in this work, we've noticed that people don't learn the normal ways anymore. I don't know if it's because we're getting older or we're seeing different ways teach us things, but the way that we notice that people are learning is tacit knowledge. And tacit knowledge is a type of knowledge that you get from something that can't necessarily be written down or explained, but you have to physically do it. So literally lifting as you climb. That's basically what tacit knowledge is. Hand holding, if you would say, but some people work better hands-on. So they rather hands-on do it and figure it out while they're doing it at the same time. That's tacit knowledge. So one way that works is by sharing your stories. Sharing your stories with, life stories, work stories, business stories, failures, wins, all of that is important for someone to hear to know which way to go. You know what I mean? You never know how or when your example or your experience can be an example or an experience for someone else. So that's why we must, you know, share those stories and have those conversations and have those intentional relationships. DYBP is really big on intergenerational mentorship, intentional intergenerational mentorship, which basically is young and old, young looking old, old acting young, whatever, everyone just always having that conversation because we are on different wavelengths, you know what I mean? But we still need to know what wavelengths you're on to all survive and prosper and do what we're trying to do, because everybody has a different lens that they're looking out of that helps us be successful. Thank you guys for dropping that link in there. I am going to share my screen just to show some of the things that actually are going on, and that'll listening to the story helps you apply it to yourself. That's the tacit knowledge I'm talking about. So this would definitely make sense. Let me put this over there. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So yeah, this is actually the picture. For those of you that don't know, when the tornadoes happened, Dayton Young Black Professionals we met at the Best Buy parking lot at 7 o'clock in the morning. And that was us on the corner of Shallow Springs and Denlinger, passing out water, sandwiches, all of that different things. We passed out over 15,000 bottles of water in the first week. We had Mayor McDonald had came up with Miss Letitia Perry, and they were just telling us like, yo, you guys were out here before anybody else. Be careful, but we appreciate it and we really needed it. There's an older home that was across from Hare Arena. It's like for retired people and stuff like that. They didn't have any power. The power had went out and there was no access because the trees had fell. So we literally carried water from Shallow Springs apartment to them to make sure that all of those elderly people in the area had water. My grandmother's best friend actually lived there and I didn't know until then. So just networking and hearing things and actually being in the city that you're in definitely provides you a type of clarity and, you know, those networks and those things that you wouldn't necessarily get if you didn't have those relationships. That's why relationships are so important. What is DYBP? It's just a nonprofit organization that focuses on empowerment and Black leadership development through tacit knowledge. Our vision is to empower our members to be leaders in business and local communities, a community of young professionals committed to making the Gem City a great place to live, work, and grow. You know, Trotwood people really don't like to say that they're Dayton, but Dayton people don't mind saying that they're Trotwood. So we consider Trotwood in this. You know, we have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who have left and came back, graduated, you know, and they wanted to come here to, you know, start their life, you know, because to pay homage to, you know, the place that made them. And what better way to do that than where you're from, even if that is Trotwood, even if that is Dayton, even if it is wherever, you know what I mean? Just being able to come back and make something of the place that did something for you. DYB became a thing after, just like Sean said, he came back from college, HBCU, by the way. So I came back from college and, you know, I needed to be around like-minded people. I don't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that meant, but I just knew I needed to be around some people that had a fire but didn't know where the fire was coming from, or they wanted to get that fire bigger. And just by creating those spaces, most importantly, it provided that. So that was good for us. That's back to the intergenerational piece that I spoke to earlier. That's why the chamber is so important. At the Dayton Chamber, we had Miss Belinda Stevens. She's a seasoned Black woman. You know, I'm just coming in. By having that relationship with her, she's telling me things that I didn't know. She's telling me things that I need to know. And even things that I'm bumping my head on, she was like, hey, like, does it make sense? And I'm like, you know, we need to hear those stories. We need mentors. Everybody needs a mentor. Even on this call, if there's somebody, you know, that you heard talk and you're like, well, you know, that was great what they talked about, but I feel like I resonate with them. like the way that they explain that, that's the way that I think. You know, reach out to that person. Don't be ashamed to reach out to someone to ask them, hey, do you think that you can, you know, talk to me every so often? Like, you think we could do lunch or something every 2 weeks? I want to do better. I'm open to learn. You know, as long as you're making that known, then that should definitely help you on your journey. Definitely make it easier for people to navigate with you and know what you're looking for. We need to know our ask. We need to know what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing to know how to connect. This is just what we do, the 7 pillars of excellence, which are the ways that we mobilize in the community. Everybody has a niche. Everybody has something that they're good at. And with those options, it gives them those things. We have a lot of people who are teachers. So anything with kids outside of 7 and 3, Monday through Friday, they don't want to do that. But let's say that they want to do something with economics. You know, so just making sure that those options are available. And that engagement is there is how you keep people on their toes. That's how you keep things fresh. That's how you keep people's minds going. Just make sure it's always an opportunity to curate those places where like-minded people can brainstorm together. Even if it's about different things. You know, Sean might say, hey, I have a question about this. I don't even know what he's talking about, but just listen and then maybe saying something, you know, like, okay, well, that might make sense. Or like, oh, this helped me figure something out with what I was thinking. You know what I mean? Just getting your mind going by people that think like you. And that definitely pushes the progression forward. Networking is important, intentional networking, if you don't forget anything else. Knowing what resources are there to provide to someone else. That's what the networking piece comes from. There's an African word called Ubuntu, and it means I am because you are, and you are because I am. That means that we all have to work together in, you know, this space of ultimately curating this economic ecosystem that we want to see. It's not a one person get there and that's it. We all have to get there, but we have to lift as we climb. Because entrepreneurship is hard, you know. It's hard to do it alone. And a lot of us are small business owners, you know what I mean? But when you're in a space with people that are on the path that you're on, that has the mindset that you're on, it makes it a lot easier to deal with. So just try to curate those spaces. You know, that's what the chamber's for. You know, maybe, you know, some people after this call can get together and see what can be done to get one in trial. Well, we really do need that. You can't be what you can't see. So that needs to be there for people to physically see, like, okay, well, this is possible for me. It's here, it's right here for me. I don't have to go downtown Dayton to get it. It's literally right here in my neighborhood. And that's what that lights the spark. That's the domino that changes the entire game, is stuff physically being there. So make sure that you never know who you could be an example for, what your experience can mean to someone else, and just keep those intentional relationships.
Thanks, Deja. That's
Thank
deep.
you, Deja.
For sure.
That's super deep. Does anyone have any questions, Ms. Deja?
I have a
definitely.
comment. I want to thank you. A lot of folks are afraid to share their knowledge because they're afraid someone will learn more than what they know and those type of things. And when you're open to do that, I would rather work with someone and be with someone that is willing to learn and to share their knowledge than not. And that's part of what I see sometimes, is that people are afraid to do that, afraid that they might give something a wrong answer. A 2-year-old doesn't care how they get to the other side of the table, whether they go around it, under it, or over it. We as adults tend to be more afraid to speak up in those terms, afraid that we will be judged or be wrong, or it may not be something that someone wants to hear. So in the outlook that you have taken is fantastic. And I thank you for that, because I am more than willing to share and to help learn and to help folks get on the right track than to sit back and ignore.
Yes, ma'am. That's really, really important. I definitely learned that on my journey. It was hard. It's hard to be vulnerable to tell someone about your failures. It's really, really hard to do that. I have a little sister that's 10 years younger than me, but I had to tell her because I didn't want her to experience that. You know what I mean? And that's the way that we have to look at life. Like, we have to tell other people our failures just as well as our wins, so we can prevent them from doing that, so we can all be successful. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely that intergenerational piece is huge, you know, because man, it's so many gaps, you know, and like as a community, as a as a community, you know, that can help, you know, as you said. I love that phrase there. It can stop you from bumping your head, you know, so much. And they, you know, because just talking to an OG or to someone who's wiser than you, they can definitely just let you know, like, hey, they can provide that calm voice of, you know, I've been there before. That is not the end of the world, and just kind of, you know, shift you in the right place. So definitely, thank you for that.
For sure.
I did have a question, and I wanted to text you this. It might, it's not political, but in somewhat of the realm. Do you feel like the 7 pillars that you guys have would be like something that we could hold a candidate, say even just our public officers, no matter who it may be, is that something that we could hold them to, you know?
You could. Definitely. Those are 7 basic things. So we got those 7 pillars because we were having what we call dream meetings, where we just invited all millennials to come and, you know, ask them, what do you think about? Like, if you were a part of a young professional leadership development organization, like, what would your focuses be? So out of 160 things, those were the 7 that were the most used. You know, 7 is supposed to represent something that signifies wholeness and all of that. So we were like, yo, like, these 7 were the main ones. Like, let's just go from that. Those are all the basic things for a community. It's just how you excel those and how you propel those, which makes the community better. So the first thing we have to do is inform about all of those things. So if everyone knew all of those things that are the basic needs for a community, and then they base that on how they voted, that would change everything. That would change the vote. That's why it starts with knowledge. So we have to inform our people to know, like, hey, these are the basic things that we need. We need an economic system. Hey, we need good education. We need these things. And then you're like, oh, wait, but this candidate doesn't even talk about economics from my side of town. This candidate doesn't even talk about public schools. Then people will be able to put 2 and 2 together and know, not saying that this is the blueprint for it, but it could definitely have somebody thinking like, oh, okay, well, they're not even asking this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And these are 7 basic things. So just makes you think.
Sure. Sure, I appreciate that. I think that's something, yeah, something that we'll have to talk about more in depth. You know,
I like where that's going. We will definitely talk. I like that. I like that. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So as we move to our breakout rooms, I will drop the other links to the small business, Trotwood income tax, and the Entrepreneur Center, and planning and zoning as well. So I'll drop those links here in the chat. And then we did want to have a slide, or we do have a slideshow for you guys to just enjoy as we curate the breakout room. So prepare your questions, your comments for each of our panelists, and we will go from there.
Hey, Sean.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I just want to do a real quick plug, kind of off the subject, but I just, since I have the audience here, the Dayton Metro Library will be sponsoring a Children's Hunger Alliance meal. They got a grant for to do this program, and on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I'll be volunteering on Wednesdays at the Trotwood Library from 3:30 to 5:30. They will be distributing first come, first serve food. This is for will receive 10 meals per week. This is for parents and guardians let's see, parents can pick up for their kids and kids do not need to be present. However, a child cannot take meals for other children or siblings, only themselves. Parents and guardians can only pick up for the children in their household. They cannot pick up for the neighbors or other family members that do not live in their household. So this will be going on until the end of the year, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3:30 to 5:30 at the Trotwood Library. So just want to put that out there. This is for our families. So just want to put that out there. I'll pass that along, and that's going to start next week. So just wanted to give you that information and pass that along to people and you can pass that along to family members and whoever. So just wanted to put that out there for our Trotwood residents and community.
Thank you, Sharon. That's definitely needed to know. A lot of us need to know that. And that new library is wonderful. If you guys haven't been, I enjoyed it a lot. It's pretty sweet in there. Sierra, did you want to explain what the breakout rooms?
Sure. So we have 3 breakout rooms that we'll be putting you all into. For those who were our presenters, we will be putting planning and development with income tax. So that will be one breakout room. The other breakout room that we'll have is the small business administration and the small business development center. And then we'll have Trotwood Chamber paired with the Dayton Young Black Professionals. So those will be the breakout rooms that we'll have, and then we'll just assign the attendees into the breakout.
Let me see here. This is the PowerPoint, right? I just hit play.
Yes.
I probably need to share the screen first.
Part of the problem is that, and it's not.
Okay. How do I? Probably skip. Just leave that. Do it.
Oh, we'll just put them in the breakout rooms now.
Oh, facts. All right. Let's see. 3 different rooms. Here you go. Stop the share. Okay. Sierra, you have anything to add during this time?
Thanks for the plug.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we'll play the video at the end. We can't really play it and try to put people into breakout rooms, so
Yeah,
we'll just play it at the end.
that was not working out so hot. Um, right. You guys should receive an invitation to move to your breakout rooms where you can ask each of our guests today a question. So we'll be popping into each of these rooms to just make sure everything's going okay. Westbrook, right? Or Michelle, would you mind joining the Westbrook room?
That's fine.
Miss Tina, would you mind joining the Broadmoor room?
That's fine.
Okay, you should see the invitation now. Hey, Ms. Carter.
I'm sorry, I have a question. I was trying to get to the breakout room with the zoning.
Mm-hmm. We can, yes, we can send you there. All
Thank you.
right.
Yeah, I was looking for the Dayton Young Black Professionals room.
Okay. We can send you there. And you should see the invite now, Brittany.
Okay, thank you.
Sean, you need to send me where I need to go too. So.
Okay. Let's see. You should see it. Don't join that one. Join Do you see one for Westbrook? Okay, Malcolm's in there. We all right for right now. We okay. We have some engagement in each room. Close out with the. Okay. Let's see. Okay. She joined Westbrook one. All right, cool. That works. Let me see. Let me try to send my mom. Hey, Malcolm. Malcolm, did you have any issues joining the breakout rooms?
No, I was actually good. I was in the Westbrook for a moment. I was I thought Jung Kim was gonna be in there, but I'll probably redirect any questions I can think of to him offline.
Okay,
That was the main person I was. You know, we've talked to him before, so I'm still gonna gather my thoughts in terms of questions, and then I'll kind of get back with him once I'm ready.
Okay, I can place you in that one now if you like.
Oh, does he? Okay, yeah. If he has a room.
Second, I see you have two on here, so it might come to. I'm gonna just send both of them over there. So you should get it here shortly. You see the invite to it?
Yeah, I just see something that says join breakout room.
Yep.
Let me try that.
Yep, just press that and you should be good to go. All right, bet. That's all right, see? See, this wasn't too bad. It was a little struggle. Yeah. We can probably, let me see, we can want to close out today with the PowerPoint that we had scheduled. So if you guys want to drop any information or any pending questions in the chat, if you wanted to connect with someone and then receive something, or somebody might have jumped offline that you want to talk to, definitely place that in the chat, and myself or Sierra will get to it at a later date. So thank you all, and
Thank you.
enjoy the slideshow. What did it stop at the first time? Did it stop at the first time? Thanks again, everyone. Hope y'all have a great Saturday, a great weekend. This will be posted later too. You can catch it on the City of Trotwood's Facebook page. And the full thing will be posted too as well. We'll email you guys the link. So thanks once again.
Thank you.
Good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.